Most populous state. What does populous mean? Populous means having the most population, the largest number of people. 35 million, and this is equivalent. What does equivalent mean? Equivalent means having the equal value, all right, to the entire country's numbers in 1870. All right. So what is this part about? By 1870, 1/3 of the America's population lived in the West, while only 1/12 of the population lived in 1830. So a lot of people, that means a lot of people moved to the West. You understand? And the country's population has grown 3 times between 1830 and 1870. And long after the rush for gold and land, there was still Western migration, people moving to the West. And today, California has the most, California, which is also the West, has the most number of people in America, and the number of people is equivalent to the entire country's population in 1870. That's what it means. Okay. Let's look at the questions now. The word denizens in the passage, what does that mean? Let's look here. Let's read the sentence before that. And there was a burgeoning immigrant population, a lot of people, okay, increased people immigrating to seek a place in America, okay. However, but the new denizens didn't always have an easy time. So what would the new denizen mean here? Even if you don't know the meaning of it, it means new people who came to stay there, right? So what option are you going to choose? The new people that came to live there is it's the most sensible, reasonable choice. So what is that going to be? The residents, okay, the new residents. Emigrant is the people that goes to another country, so this is not the answer. Citizen, what's a citizen? Citizen is a person who is legally, who's a legal member of the country. At this period of time, the states were not completely formed, so you can't call them the citizens. Citizens have their rights after everything is settled, so this is not the answer. Pioneers, what's a pioneer? Pioneer is a person who does something for the first time and develops something for the first time. So the answer is B. The author implies that Lewis and Clark what? Traveled by rail for part of their journey. Is this right? There were no railways, okay, when Lewis and Clark made their expedition. That means it's not the answer. They didn't partly travel by rail, all right? Let's look at B. They found employment means they found a job as hunters. Is this right? Where's the land was empty except for the natives and a few white hunters and trappers. So they are the people that they saw, not the job they seeked for, not the job they seeked. So this is not the answer, okay? were some of the first settlers to live in the American West. This can be a little complicating, but it said, except for the natives and a few white hunters and trappers, they should be the first settlers. Let's look at other options to be sure. Met few people during their journey from east to west. The natives and the hunters and trappers were the people that they met, the few people they met, because they said the land was empty except for, so it means the number is not great. So it means they met few people. So D would be the answer, right? And as a matter of fact, Lewis and Clark came back after the expedition, but it's not mentioned in the passage, so you can't know it from the passage. So, according to... Where is this? Okay, this should be number 3 then. According to paragraph 3, which is the true of the people who migrated to the West? They came mostly from various European countries. Is this right? Mostly from. If the option has some words like mostly, you have to be really careful because there's a lot of chance that that would not be the answer. Okay? Where was the... Here, right? So, some people who moved to the West came from the East and South, okay? And others were immigrants from the from Europe. So you can't say they mostly came from Europe. Those were the others, okay? Do you understand? Large numbers of them died in fights with natives and each other. Let's look. Armed clashes with natives did not deter them. That means they had armed fights with the natives, but it doesn't say many large numbers of them died. You can't say that from this passage. So this is not what it means. Many of them were seeking land on which they could raise crops. Is this right? They came what? They came to seek better and more fertile farmland. So that this could be the answer, okay? Many of them were seeking land on which they could raise crops. What does crop mean? Crop is a plant that, like wheat or potatoes, that you grow in large quantities for food. They moved west because they fought for the losing side in the Civil War. As a matter of fact, the people who migrated much before the Civil War. Hold on. No, what I said was wrong. They fought for the losing side in the Civil War. There's nothing that says that. The people, they didn't. The passage doesn't say the people who migrated fought at the Civil War. So this is not the answer. So the answer is C. So which of the sentences below best expresses the information highlighted in the sentence? Here. So what does the highlighted sentence mean? Mainly, you have to look at that, all right? A lot of people migrated because they thought they were going to earn a lot of money from farming, and those were slaves from the south, businessmen seeking a wealth, and discharge war veterans looking for a start, a new start. So let's look at the option. People wanting to start their lives over means again, such as former slaves, businessmen, and soldiers, looked for business opportunities from migrants. Former slaves, businessmen, and soldiers were the migrants. They were not the people who looked for business opportunities from migrants, so this is not the answer. Expecting to make a lot of money, many people accepting freed slaves, businessmen, and veterans became farmers out west. Out means far, far west. Many people were the freed slaves, businessmen, and veterans, and they are the people, not accepting them. So B is not the answer. A lot of people, a variety of people, including freed slaves, businessmen, soldiers, were attracted to farming by the possibility of making money. This has everything inside, all the contents, okay? A lot of people were migrating because they thought they were going to have profit. They were going to earn money from the farming. And those included the slaves, businessmen, freed slaves, businessmen, and soldiers. So C is the answer, which has everything. D, because so many people were making money from farming, this led difficulties for former slaves, businessmen, and soldiers. This is not right, right? Because former slaves, businessmen, and soldiers moved west because they thought they will make a lot of money. So D is not the answer, you understand? Let's match the answer choices to the American West, to the period before the Civil War and after the Civil War. You understand? Okay, the price of land there was extremely high. This is not indicated in the passage, so this answer we're going to leave out. Two of the answers will not be used, all right? European immigrants went there to settle the land. What does settle mean? If you say settle, you stop moving and decide to live in that area for a long time. Okay? European immigrants went there to settle the land. So which one is this? Where do they talk about the Europeans? After the Civil War, right? The immigrants coming from Europe came to settle. You understand? So this is after the Civil War. So which one is this? Number 2, right?